or we'll switch the topic up, just a little bit, keep it a little bit light. So a lot of stuff has kind of transpired since the last time we talked. One of the things is the Kendrick Lamar album just dropped.
Right.
We were kind of listening to one of the songs on there, and I just first take, what did you think about the album?
It was I told one of my coworkers, I was like, man, this is the tribal music we've been searching for
tribal music
since we left. Because I said that because the way that they explain tribal music is a way to connect to higher powers, but also to the life experience that we're going through. And I felt like this album was that for me. I mean, I'm not saying and people think In the Jungle banging on drums. It wasn't that, but it was definitely a way I felt more connected to my environment by listening to this album. I got different perspectives on experiences that I have no idea about, but it's still in my community. I felt more inclined to, like, let me go pray some more. Like, it had that kind of feeling to me. And I don't know if I've ever felt like that towards music. Maybe I've been waiting on Kendrick for 5 years, so maybe I just got so involved in it because I've been missing his perspective. But that's what I got from it through listening through it probably 5 or 6 times now. What about you?
I got a different appreciation for it. So listening to the album, I was like, man, I'm working to be that transparent and vulnerable.
Yeah.
It felt like he just kind of laid everything kind of on the table. He talked about, his relationship with his father. He talked about, infidelity with his mother. Not his mother, but his wife. He talked about, so many different things. He talked about in 95, who are you outside of all these things that we associate ourselves with? He talked about his
homosexuality, transgender, transformation. Like, he talked about all of that.
Yeah, he talked about so many different things. And, that was one of the things that spoke most to me. It's like, how do I get to a place to where I can, speak about different things in my life like that? Because as a great philosopher said, you can't heal what you don't reveal. That was Jay-Z, So it's, and I think the way the album, I think on both albums, it was a huge focus on like therapy. He talked about it a lot. A couple standout tracks for me. So the first standout track was Father Time. Father Time, that one was, I really identify with that. Maybe not with his whole experience, but what comes to music, you talked about tribal music. When I hear music, it always takes me to a certain memory or a certain, past thought or something like that. So listening to that song, it took me to my relationship with my father, and just all the expectations that he's kind of placed on me and trying to live up to that. It can be kind of tough, growing up in a household with my dad, although, I love him dearly. It was a struggle because he was aware of certain things that I wasn't aware of as a child. He knew what the world was. He knew what was in place in this world, and he wanted to help prepare me for that. Yeah. So going through, his process of of raising a child was. It was a struggle, man. And so it just kind of took me there. And, so I really enjoyed that song. What was a track for you?
I think in 95 was. And it tied into this book for me because I'm going to jump back to the book real quick. There was this story about a man who built a boat called Persona. Mm-hmm. And he built this amazing looking boat that everybody flaunted over. It had the beautiful sails. It had a nice boat wheel. It had some nice rudders, whatever, the things that you could see. Mm-hmm. But when the storm came, it was devoured by the ocean because it didn't have the functionality and the support and the structure that it needed to survive the storm that every boat is going to have to go through at some point. So to me, when he started talking about if you take take social media away. You take off the chains. You take out the money. You take off the Wi-Fi. Right? You take out the fufu. You take all that stuff away. What's at the core of you? Who are you? The measure of a man. What's sitting there when you lose everything? And to me, I was like, that's something that I'm working through, because throughout my life, I try to carry a persona, the persona of the nice guy, the persona of the guy that's going to do everything right. And I would try to hide the things that I would consider flaws or bad decisions. But like you just said, how can you heal what you don't reveal? So me hiding those things were really stifling my growth. So for him to be able to articulate that, put it to some dope music and make it flow, I was able to really connect and reflect on myself through my experience of not being able to show the world who I am. I think me and you started, like, I got another podcast and this, but at the core of it is to learn to express what's really going on inside of me, because you have a different perspective that may help me understand my feelings. I only know what I know, but as soon as I let it out, I get the opportunity for somebody else to help me mold, correct, or sail on the boat that I'm already on.